Well, here we have an interesting topic. I think I'll make a song out of this little piece of information here, this little video here, and these people might introduce me into a really neat song.
Solomon in Washington thinks that abortion should be illegal because it would be taking a life from another person. Okay.
Nurturing women here.
Before we hear your story, Solomon, I'm curious how you define like life and person. Like, what is life to you and what is person to you? How do you use those words?
I guess fundamentally that's the real question here.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's the real question, yeah.
So I think if they're defining life, and some people define it differently than I do. For me, I define it at a heartbeat. That happens relatively early on and pretty quickly after the realization of, oh, I've missed my period. Mm-hmm. So I think pretty much around that time would be a fair time to say that would be life, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong. Other people believe other things.
So it's actually not really a heartbeat, though, when it's still in that early phase. That's an electrical impulse that registers similar to a heartbeat, but you actually don't have a circulatory system, like, shortly after you're impregnated. What the thing that's registering on ultrasounds as a heartbeat is actually an electrical impulse. The circulatory system, as people understand it, doesn't quite exist. So
even though a sperm and the egg got together to make this thing.
An important one to note, if that is your definition of when life starts, is when it's not mine, for the record, but if that is yours, you're placing it at the wrong time during fetal development. So just heads up there. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought that was important to note.
Even with that impulse.
Yeah, go ahead.
So even with the impulse or the electrical pulse, I think it would still stand because afterwards, unless there is something to alter that, it's still going to become a human life. Like the course of it happening prior doesn't really change. Like it wouldn't be no different than a person that has a hard birth and they could potentially die, but then you have doctors.
It's not a real person. Yeah,
you wouldn't kill the baby afterwards, or you.
Okay,
I can kill it anytime
so
I want.
I'm curious before we get too deep into this. Is this belief based on a God belief? Is this because you think this is what a God wants, or is this actually a separate belief for you?
Let's see. You see, it's more about attitude of life. I'll tell you, when does it become a baby? It becomes a baby when you want it to be a baby. If your baby was killed by an illegal alien and you wanted it, then it was a baby, you see. And forget about what the husband wants. Maybe the husband or the boyfriend wanted to keep the baby because that's the way he felt about his part of his body being in you. But these nurturing women here will have a special song about life. Your life. Life begins when you say it does, and life ends when we say it does. There we have it. New song, maybe on its way soon. How do you interpret life? Any way I want to. Mm-hmm. Yes, the thing about the... Here, let's get a look at me. Thing about life and abortion is, yes, pro-choice. You should be able to have a choice on whether you kill the living becoming a person inside of you. Because you could be injured by it. Now, if you're getting injured by it, you simply have no choice. What it really comes down to is, it's your choice. And you are going to get stuck with, whether you have them or not, the emotional trauma. Oh, laughing already? Some people will, but certain people won't. Why? Because they're disposable humans. Disposable humans when you're in little cliques and groups, when you turn your back or you don't speak the same way as them, they'll toss you aside, throw you under a bus, because that's the way they are. But if you want to take your cake out of the oven early, your person out of the oven early, but if you really want the baby, and if somebody harms the baby before it comes out, or the fetus before it comes out, which is a baby when you want it, but it's a fetus when you don't want it, or you can't afford to have it. But when it comes to choices, pro-choice in any field, including abortion, well, it should be a choice of, if the guy is around and he wants the baby, then you got another decision to make. But if it's just you around with the baby, you have to decide whether you want to get rid of the baby or not. For health reasons, money reasons, it's all on you. Don't listen to other people. Yes, take a little doctor's advice, but you may want to think twice or more than twice about whether you're going to have an abortion or not. But really, what it's about is, it's attitude. Attitude. Today's attitude. Do you have a disposable attitude? If you do have a disposable attitude, then collectively, we as a species will be easily disposed of by each other. Yes, the world is going toward a self-destructive spiral right now, and attitude has a whole lot to do with it. So, should abortion be made illegal? No. But people should be able to think and learn how to make the better choices, the best choice for themselves and those around them. But ultimately, the choice is yours whether you want to extrude the body of the fetus baby out of yourself. With the help of the doctors, of course. Now, you might think a year later, what would it have been like if I still had that child? Would it have legs? Would I keep it if it had missing an arm? All these things. But ultimately, it's up to you. But what it's turned out to be today, it seems, is a power game. What a shame. It's a power game, isn't it? It's another power game, it turns out to be. So the choice is up to you. You know, it says, this is a biblical thing that says, you reap what you sow. Let me just say it like that. Everybody reaps what they sow. When you sow a seed into a woman, you may just get a fetus person. You're going to have to decide. You're going to have to realize before that, because science proves that if you put your sperm, your seed, into a woman at the proper time, you could end up getting a fetus person growing inside of you. So if you ignore that, yeah, that's it, and become reckless, you will have more and more fetuses growing inside of you that you may decide to get aborted. The effects of this will be on you. You mainly. But the choice is yours. Yes, you can have an abortion. It shouldn't be illegal. But it's on you. modern day atheist so-called skeptics. There's a lot to consider here. Human dignity, where has it gone? Is it just a battle of words anymore? Crybaby wokeness? Give me a fucking break, idiots.